What's up, agents? It's Dwerewolf Gaming back in action, and today I'm excited to share my first of many concentrated company gear set builds. With that being said, this gear set had a lot of potential when I first took a look at it, and today I decided to pair it. In the gameplay today, agents, I will be utilizing the STREGA assault rifle with it, but I also did utilize a rifle with it as well. But the gameplay today will focus on using it with the STREGA assault rifle. With that being said, trust me, agent, this build, this particular gear set is built for pure aggressive damage. This set is all about stacking power, tightening your focus, and rewarding you the longer you stay locked onto your targets. Every bonus is designed to push your weapon output higher and higher, turning your AR into a full-blown shredded machine. And agents, and nothing pairs with this set better than the STREGA assault rifle. The STREGA already comes with that nasty amplified damage talent, where you can get up to 75% increase in amplified damage on one enemy. And basically, this gun in this set will let every bullet that you hit land harder than it should. Combine this with that amplified damage with the stacking bonuses from the concentrated company, you get a weapon that ramps up insanely fast and holds that melt potential from start to finish. So today I'm breaking down exactly why this synergy works so well and how the STREGA takes full advantage of the concentrated company's damage stacking, and why this combo might be one of the strongest AR pairings in the game right now. Alright, agents, so like I stated, I decided it was time to finally put this gear set to use. I tried it out one time before and didn't really like how long it took to stack, but I decided to go to the range, put the gear set on, and like I said, I tried this gear set using the rifle, and it worked pretty good as well. But eventually I went to one of my favorite assault rifles in the game, which is the STREGA assault rifle, and I paired it with that just to test it out and see how this weapon would perform. And overall, agents, I will be hitting over 2-something million damage per headshot with this gun, with this build overall, and this thing literally melts everything on heroic content. And of course, those numbers, agents, this build will work in legendary as well. The only thing I do want to point out that you do want to pay attention to is those enemies with the blue icons on their heads. Those are the commanders, and they have a lot of resistance, and they also buff up enemies that are around them as well. So your main focus will be able to should be to take those enemies out first. So I do want to point that out, because those enemies can be a problem, and you will see whenever you're firing at those enemies that you will do reduced damage. With that being said, the STREGA alone, agents, it gives you that 75% increase in amplified damage. If you're new to this game, amplified damage in this game is multiplicative, so it's added on after all your other bonuses, such as weapon damage, critical hit damage has been added in. And so overall, that's why I enjoy adding any type of amplified damage in my builds, because it really does work pretty good in all content within this game. Now, some tips on how to utilize this concentrated company gear set bonus. The problem is, I've seen a lot of videos already with agents where they're utilizing skills and all kind of other stuff to stack up those 35 stacks you can get. But I got a simpler method. Agents, just go to the shooting range, and basically what you want to do is you want to take out as many targets until you have your full 35 stacks. After you do that, whatever mission you go tackle, you will still even have your stacks when you enter that mission. Basically, whenever you mark a target, you will see the little icon that looks like a vial that appears on that enemy. Kill that enemy, you build up a stack. You keep doing that over and over, agents, and you will maintain the stacks throughout the entire mission. So if you pay attention to that green icon in my gameplay that is right now, you can actually see that icon is full, agents, and that is because each enemy that I kill helps me maintain those stacks. These stacks decay really slow compared to the tipping scales gear set, or even the strikers, which is has been a meta for so long. But this gear set has the potential, and as you see in the gameplay, to dethrone the striker gear set, because as you see, agents, I am not losing any stacks, and on top of that, I am doing massive damage. So I don't have to worry about building up stacks, because the stacks have been built up before I have even left the range. So the moment you leave you go to the range, agents, before you get ready to do any mission you're gonna do, you build up your stacks, then you go do your mission. Of course, if you're pairing with others and you have to wait on them, then you are going to be losing the stacks. But for those solo gamers like myself, agents, you build up your stacks at the shooting range, you start the mission, and majority of the time you will maintain those stacks their entire time. With that being said, I do want to give a big thank you to everyone that continues to support me on the channel and especially those who always have something positive to say. I really appreciate each and every one of you for your valued time and continued support. And if you're new, you like the content, please feel free to turn on the notification bell so you can stay informed whenever I do drop content on my channel. All right, agents, so I'm going to let you finish up the rest of this gameplay. You know, I did this video. Usually I would have showed you the build breakdown by now, but I wanted this, like I said, I will run through this mission so quickly. And of course, agents, I do take out the parts while I travel from one location to the next. But this mission, agents, took me about 8 minutes to do, roughly. So I decided to just go ahead and give you all the gameplay, and then we will go over the build breakdown shortly.
Don't let Wilson get away.
Down! Don't heal up! Deployed. Shit!
All right, agents, I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. And if you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. It really does help to push the content on YouTube. With that being said, as you've seen in the gameplay, agents, this is a very powerful setup, and I do recommend you give it a try. With that being said, we're not going to spend too much time on this build breakdown because we've used some of these weapons and items before. But again, the Strega is the star of the show. This gun is amazing. One thing I do want to point out, agents, is take a look at the core stats on this gun. The total damage right now we are sitting at is 230.58k. Keep in mind that is because of the gear set that I currently have on. RPM 735 with a magazine size of 40. We do have a weapon expertise of 30% in this gun, so that will play a big factor in your build, and as your watch level being at least 1000 as well. Now the talent is what truly stands out in this gun. It's called Unnerve. Killing an enemy will apply a mark on every enemy within 20 meters of it. Multiple marks can be applied to the same enemy. The max number of marks that can be applied to an enemy is 5. All marks on the enemy will disappear 10 seconds after the last one has been applied. Basically, you deal 15% increase in amplified damage for each mark on the target. You can get up to 75%. All right, so again, we're still utilizing the Emmeline's Guard. Overall amazing weapon, but primarily using it for the talent. It's called Perfect Preservation. Killing an enemy repairs 15% armor over 5 seconds. Headshot kills improve their repair by an additional 15%, so you get a 30% when you get a headshot kill. The mods we do have is 210% critical hit damage mods. We did have the quick step pistol equipped for the sport mode, a talent which gives 20% increase in movement speed. Keep in mind it does not stack with any other talent within the game though. So let's take a look real quick at the weapon stats. We do have a critical hit chance with the Strega of 51%, and we do have room to improve that. As you can see, critical hit damage is sitting right there at 150% and headshot damage 75%. The armor on this build is pretty squishy, so keep that in mind. We do have 1,100,016 armor with 110,002 armor to kill, 0 armor regeneration, but keep in mind our secondary weapon will help us with some of that armor regeneration. So we do have 4 pieces of the concentrated company gear set on, and 2 pieces gives you 10% increase in weapon damage, 3 pieces gives you 30% increase in weapon handling. This is why this gear set will work great with rifles as well. But the talent is called Comadre, and basically shooting an enemy marks them for 7 seconds. When a marked enemy dies, you receive 1 stack of 3% increase in weapon damage and 2% increase in critical hit damage for each ally or skill that has contributed to killing that enemy, including yourself. The max stacks you can get is 35%. Or 35, and stacks decay every 10 seconds. So that is a really decent stack decay time in my opinion compared to some of the other gear sets. The maximum amount of marks that can be placed at any given moment is 4. For the core attribute, we do have weapon damage, and everything on this build agents will be going for either critical hit chance or critical hit damage. Now we do have one piece of the unit alloys gear set on, which is the name equalizer chest, which gives us 5% increase in rate of fire. For the core attribute, we do have weapon damage, and everything is going to be critical hit chance and critical hit damage. As far as the attributes, the talent is called Perfect Obliterate. Critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1%. For 10 seconds, this stacks up to 24 times, so that's 24% increase in weapon damage. For the second piece of the concentrated set is the holster, and we do have an armor core with a 6% critical hit chance attribute. For the third piece, it is the knee pads. We do have a weapon damage core for the main attribute and a 6% critical hit chance attribute. The gloves, overall, the exotic gloves, just amazing. Can't stop using these for that 30% increase in amplified damage. It automatically comes with all weapon damage stats, and the talent is called Weakest Link. It amplifies weapon damage by 30% to the lowest ranking enemies currently in combat as per the tier hierarchy. So you want to start at tier 3 agents, work your way up. And the backpack is the fourth piece of the concentrated company gear set. With this, for the core attribute, we do have an armor core. And again, those attributes for going for either critical hit chance or critical hit damage. The talent is called One for All. This increases the weapon damage bonus per stack from 3 to 5. All right, agents, so far as the skills, use whichever you prefer. We are using the Crocheted Shield with the Fixer Drone for a little bit more survivability on the build. But use whichever skills work best for you. And like I said, agents, you don't have to worry about using any skills, anything to build up your stacks. Just build up your stacks at the range, and these stacks last a very long time. Now, as far as the Command League Global Modifier, the only thing I want to point out is that the passive recruit bonus that you will receive from your recruiting all the recruits that you can recruit is very important. And basically, agents, you just want to recruit as many as you can. Well, 10 out of 10 on each one to get up to 15% increase in assault rifle damage, 20% increase in hazard protection, and 15% increase in skill efficiency. Keep in mind, when you don't have any your active modifier equipped, all of those that I just listed will double. So that will play a major part in your build as well if you don't want to use your companion. But I do recommend you use your companion because they do help. They can come in handy in certain parts within the gameplay. And we did go with the gunner class specialization. And keep in mind, every third reload is 50% faster. You do get 10% armor back on a kill. And whenever you kill an enemy, you do have an increased rate of fire by 5% for 5 seconds. Also, this is the only class where you will have access to the Banshee Pulse. Disorient those enemies caught in the wave, and it can also penetrate through cover. Keep in mind, when you remain still for 1 second, you will have 10% increase in weapon handling, and also you generate 10% of your ammo capacity every 60 seconds, and party members will recover 5% of that. Also, don't forget to equip the correct weapon element to get your 15% increase in weapon damage. All right, agents, if you like the build, let's give it a thumbs up. Thank you for your valuable time. Dwerewolf out.